Hey guys, Joe Flowers here with Condor Tool and Knife 2020. Day one with InnerBark Outdoors, so I still have my voice. Awesome. And he came by to shoot with this camera that he brought down on my Bushcraft Global trips and is still working. So by the way, wife, he needs a new camera. There's a good, there's your take-home message. So in case she sees that, there you go for Christmas, Andy. So we have a lot of new stuff. A lot of these are some new designs that I have, and I know a bunch of their information right off the top of my head, like the Bushcraft Tomahawk. This Tomahawk has been engineered to be able to be thrown, but also be used for some bushcraft situations. You can put it underneath your armpit and pretend this is a piece of wood. Whittle with it really easily. It's got a hardened pole on the back. And so this is a Bushcraft Tomahawk. It comes with the leather sheath that actually has a shoulder strap on it, so you can use it maybe if you're out on a trap line or just walking around camp and you don't want to have, you know, a big old tomahawk dangling around anywhere. Now, just for you guys, this is kind of a neat in behind the scenes process. This is where we're going with from prototyping all the way to finish. You can see how the face is a little bit smaller on this guy. It just makes it a little bit more compact as far as the tomahawk goes, but sometimes, especially with axes, it takes a little bit of tooling to get where we want to go. So also new this year is a Coffin Nail. The name came from a buddy of mine, Mr. Black on Bushcraft USA forums, but he said that looks like a coffin nail. And so this thrower, which is a larger version of the half spin thrower, is now International Knife Throwing Hall of Fame compliant and American Knife Throwing Association compliant. It has all of the weights and all of the sizes to be able to be competitive, and is a super big, super awesome thrower. Even if you miss and you're throwing at an animal, you would probably hurt it because it is just a ridiculous amount of steel to go through the air. Also, by the way, rock weld low so that it can bend instead of break. Really, really, really cool setup. That's the Coffin Nail thrower, new this year for Condor 2020. Let's talk about some more bigger metal though. The King Kukri. Man, I wanted to call it the Kong Kukri, but like Godzilla vs. Kong comes out in 2020, so we didn't want to get sued. So this is what the actual Nepalese Kukri has as far as size goes. They're actually pretty big. And this one has a chira, which is basically a large giant fuller, which gives it more of an ergonomic handle. You can see it has a distal taper as well. It's skeletonized on the back to make it more balanced when you're chopping with it. And Andy, I don't know if you know some of the things the Nepalese do with their kukris, but there's a ritual where they do some processing of some large farm animals, and it is horrifying to watch on YouTube, but if you have a chance, you should see it. It's part of their culture, it's what they do, but it really shows you the raw power of a kukri. So Walter Matthews came out with this knife, the Sante, which is made out of 1095 high carbon steel. You know, it has a 4.5-inch size blade with the walnut handle. You can see it's very ergonomic, a very plain, beautiful design. Great for bushcrafting, great for the outdoors, with white and red liners. We like the liners. They actually give you more of a positive gluing surface on your knives, so it helps make it a little bit stronger too. And last but not least is the Lost Roman knife. Now this is based on a knife, this is more, you could call it a replica of a knife that was found in the middle of London. Rome? No. When London used to be part of the Roman Empire, there was this, what's called the Lost Pompeii of the North, where they had all these awesome artifacts underneath the ground. And this knife was actually smaller, kind of like a neck knife, but there were some really interesting lines going on there. So I use that as the blueprints to base off of this larger Lost Roman knife. There's a bunch of rivers underneath London that have dried up called the Lost Rivers, and that's where they found this cache. So this guy's new for this year, 1075 high carbon steel. You know, it's got the cutting surface rounded all up and down the blade, so it's a little bit easier to sharpen. Just a really cool, interesting outdoor knife that kind of gets away from the bill of, you know, the normal 4-inch outdoor use knife that you see out there. So these are all new. We have a ton of other new stuff for 2020 as well. You can go on condortk.com if you want to use those knives out in the jungle, or any knives. Come to bushcraftglobal.com. We're taking people to come up on our trips this year. And it's different every year now. This year we had lots of really cool things that I'll tell you off camera that happened. They aren't bad or sketchy, I just don't want to waste your time. But go to condortk.com, Instagram, YouTube, all that fun stuff. I'm Joe Flowers. Go outside and cut stuff.